This is a ladder that came with a slide, a swimming pool slide. And it is going to be a new ladder for the houseboat. We have the super heavy duty ladder that bolts onto the engine platform. That'll hold 300 pounds or more. But it's hard for the little ones to use, and they get all tangled up in the control wires, and I've seen them grabbing the fuel lines to help pull themselves up, and it's like, no, it's not going to work. So I got this ladder and I brought it to the boat, and I got some measurements, and so far all I've done is put a solid block here and put a solid block at the bottom. At the bottom I put a solid block so because it was kind of sharp and I don't want people to kick that while it's underwater. And here's where I'm going to have a pivot for the brace. So that's all we've done so far, day one. Okay, today I'm going to continue work on the swim ladder for the little people. Right here, where I'm going to fold the legs. It's going to have legs that fold to the side of the boat to make it steady. And because we have that overhang, that catwalk overhang, they need to be about 24 inches from here to the end. It's really hard to measure. I was hanging over the boat and trying to hold the ladder and the tape and me at the same time. I ran out of hands. But roughly 24 inches from here to the stopper. If it's 22 or if it's 26, it's not that critical. But 24 was my best guess. So it'll have to fold up this ways so we can store it. This will be the top step. This will be relatively flush with the side deck of the boat. Typically when you have a ladder going up to a platform, it's nice to remove the upper rungs and have the sides to hang on to. But in this case, we have the handrail posts on both sides, so I'm probably going to remove pretty much everything above this top step so it'll just be flush. We'll have to make some kind of hanging bracket, which I have an idea on. But I think before I make the hanging bracket, I'm going to make the folding legs. That's going to be our first step. This is like too good to be true. On the houseboat, on the flying bridge, there was originally a built-in seat. This was the seat back support. This was screwed to the bottom, and this held the seat back from going back. But this is the right width for the brace. Of course, it's going the wrong way. And it is within an inch or two of the length I wanted. So I'm going to attempt to straighten this out a little bit, and I think this is going to be our folding leg. I was working on straightening that top leg, and I got it almost straight, but I got a little crack right here from overbending the metal or just fatigue. But I still got another couple inches of straight material, so I'm going to work on the bottom one now. Okay, got the ladder turned around backwards, and I got this brace straightened out pretty well between the vise and the hammer and the anvil, and I was able to cut the crack off, so I don't have to worry about that. This is going to go roughly like this, and then fold up when not in use. So I need to make a hinge type device, and it needs to hold it in this position. It can't fall down or it won't do any good. So using a little CAD, I got a rough size for the hinge pieces, and if I'm lucky and get the hole in the right spot, it should fold out and stop at the right angle and fold down flat for storage. And this will be cut from a flat sheet of aluminum, and I'll put I'll do 4 of them. I'll put 2 on each side. So that's next step is to cut some aluminum. So I cut my 4 pieces with this skill saw, which cuts them kind of rough, and then I clamped them all together in a vise and sanded the edges smooth. So these are all the same, with 3 corners rounded and one just the edge broken a little bit. So the width of the strut, unfortunately, is less than the width of the ladder. So I'm going to take this flat bar, this is left over from the canopy top, and I'm going to cut it and weld a piece to this leg right here to bring it out. Then it'll be the same thickness, and that'll make the hinge pieces work much better. I've got the hinge plates cut and clamped into place. I'm getting ready to weld them. Spent some time trying to figure out if I should drill them before or after, and I decided there's no way I'm going to get all the holes right before. I think I'll do them after, and I'll start out with a little 1/16 inch hole to make sure it's at the right pivot point, and then I'll just drill through the 2 halves of the hinge and the ladder itself. These were cut from an old highway sign, traffic control sign from one of our jobs that got damaged, and it's got that reflective sticker on there. And good Lord, I didn't think I'd ever get it off. I ended up getting a torch and just turning it into black smoke. That sticker was tough. So I've got the hinge plates all welded on and polished up, and they look pretty good. Except, you know, I can't do a video without a screw up, and I did one. I had the square tubing upside down when I welded the plates on it. So the bevel that I had carefully cut is now going the wrong way. So I'm gonna go to the bandsaw and cut it back and see what we can do with it. So I cut away the slope on the border band and then filed, and now got that little problem solved. So I used my original cardboard template, marked a hole, and drilled a little 1/16 inch bit, left the bit in the hole, and it pivots pretty well. So on the opposite side, I did 2 things. I used the template, and I also used measurements from this first side. And I came out within about 1/8 of an inch, so I'll split the difference and put a little hole on that side and make sure we're good. Okay, so I drilled a hole, left the bit in that side, and I have a drill bit in this side, and it actually works pretty well. It folds flat, and it opens up. It could open up a little bit more, but all I have to do is file some of that aluminum out the way. So I'm going to drill through where the little bit is with a 1/4 inch bit, and that'll be my pivot. And then I'm going to remove this excess metal here, because that could be, somebody could kick that with their toe. I don't need that. Okay, got them drilled. I got a bolt stuck in the holes, and it works really good. Folds flat for minimum stowage, and it opens at the same degree of this as the steps are. So if I get the steps level, this will be level. Okay, my plan on how to hang the ladder from the side of the boat. I have a pair of these. These were from a Grand Banks swim platform. And I'm going to embed these in that boat itself. And then I'm going to fabricate a ball similar to this on a bracket, so that the ladder can be dropped in that ball and pulled back, and that will hold the top of the ladder. Now, to do that, all the weight will be on whatever's holding that ball, so it needs to be pretty strong. So I think I'm going to go with I got more of this. I think I'll let this stick out the back, and I'll weld an angle, and then I can through bolt the angle, and I can through bolt this with a big plate washer, and I think that should be adequate. So this is what I have so far. If I weld this plate to this plate at a 90 degree, and then through bolt this with a good sized plate washer, I think this will take the weight. Even though it's cantilevered a little bit, it's cantilevered a short distance. And it's a pretty heavy piece of aluminum, and there's two of them. So I'm going to weld these at 90 degrees, put them in there, and then I'll probably round these corners off and decide about how I'm going to do that little ball. Okay, the little landings are made. I'm really happy with them. They're simple, they're clean looking, did decent welds, and they're very strong. They're not going to pull up vertically or pull out horizontally. There's no way. The whole ladder will collapse before these things fail. So now what I'm going to try to do is reproduce this little round ball. This one's stainless steel, but I'm going to try to reproduce two of them out of this block of aluminum using a grinder and my drill press. So I cut the little block in half, and then I drilled it and tapped it, then screwed in a bolt, put a locking nut, and cut the head off. I'm going to put it in the drill press and spin it and see if I can't make them round. Probably with the grinder with the flap disc. Let's see what happens. Got one kind of rounded, and I'm going to start rounding on the second one. It's kind of slow go. I thought it would cut faster than this. Aluminum always is kind of hard to cut. So you can see this is going to take a while. Yesterday I spent some time turning these. It wasn't pleasant and it didn't go very well. The aluminum just tends to get hot and melt in the grinding wheel and just kind of seal it up. And I have to get down to this size, which is a little less than 5/8. Yeah, it's between a half and 5/8. I got a ways to go. So I think I'm going to freehand this with the cut-off wheel on the grinder and try to get it closer. Okay, so I found this washer, and it is exactly the size I need. So I'm going to center it on the bolt that's in the middle. Spray paint it. Oh, that didn't work. Well, that'll give me something to write on. I've got my little circle drawn. I just need to make sure I leave it, that I cut on the outside of that circle. Cut one side and it worked okay. Well, I certainly wasted my time on the drill press. This took 1/3 of the time, and now it's round. So I unscrewed the little ball and turned it around, and I'm going to cut the bottom off to the right length. Edge a little bit. Okay, I love it when a plan comes together. I need to replace these bolts with round head bolts so that nobody stubs a toe. But if I mount these on the boat in the right place, that means the ladder, to get it in, you'll have to, let's see, get it in place. You'll have to tilt the ladder up to get the little ball out the hole. And once the ball's out the hole, you set the ladder in place at an angle, and once it slides down, it can't come back up because it's hitting, it can't go that way because it's hitting the side of the boat. So it's pretty secure. So the trick will be to getting these mounted exactly in the right place on the boat. And I'll have to, not only will I have to screw them down, but I'll have to cut a hole for the little round thing to fit in, and epoxy that up so water won't get in there. So getting there, looking good. Well, I was just kind of patting myself on the back for a job well done, and then I realized I had an issue. We have a conflict. Off camera, I actually took these bolts out and raised the brace to clear the upper braces, and I need to lower the pivot 1 3/8 inches, and I did some checking and I can do that without hurting anything, I think. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to cut the top off at this line right here because I don't need anything above that, and I will take it home and put a block of wood in there and smooth it out so that nobody can get cut on the sharp aluminum. I got this squishy rubber. I don't know what this is from. I'm going to cut this off and glue it on here because this is what's going to be pushing on the side of the boat. So this will give it some cushion and keep it from sliding around. I've got a pair of these, but I can do that at home also. So okay, we're at the boat. I hung the ladder off the side. The angle is perfect. Just got to get these little brackets installed in the right place to make it all work. Okay, this is going to be tough. The ladder is in the right position. It will go straight down this much after I drill a hole in the deck for the little ball. Now for the ladder to stay where it is, the bracket is in the right spot. Problem is, if I need to adjust it once I drill a hole, I don't have a whole lot of room to adjust it. But I don't know what else to do except drill the big hole in the deck, and I guess I can always move the little plates around a little bit even though the big hole's already drilled. Yep. Let's drill. Drill the holes with a paddle bit, and I'm getting ready to make them all into one oblong circle with this pencil grinder. Alright, so I was sort of afraid of this. It gets in a bind before the little ball will drop all the way into the hole. I can't move the big hole closer to the water because then the little ball won't lock up in the skinny part when the ladder's in the right spot. So I can either grind the ball to make it a little pointier, or I can open up the big hole on the stainless steel brackets a little bit. I do have my pencil grinder, so let me see what I can do. Alright, I really should get a drum roll for this because this thing really works well. But I don't know how to do a drum roll. But anyway, pick it up, extend the leg, drop it over the side, add a little bit of a cant, and it drops in the hole. And that's it. It's strong. The only thing flexing is the rubber pads. They're squishing. It can't come up and it can't go out because the ladder hits the side of the boat. The only way to pick it up is to tilt the bottom first. think we'll just stow it right here because we don't use this gate. I'll just need a bungee cord or a Velcro strap. All right, this was a long video. Thanks for watching.